I couldn't be more excited to have our guest today, which really a lot of you were asking for, none other than Hugo Jacomet and Sonya Glyn, two of kind of the foremost authorities on classic menswear. So this doesn't look like Burgundy. I mean, where are you joining us from?
North Georgia, I would say 100 miles north of Atlanta in America.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, you know.
We have a nice pond outside with a dock that Hugo actually built with my brother-in-law. We should have had a photo of that to put up, but yeah, it's very nice.
You know, you guys are so down to earth. I mean, I think it's one of the things that, you know, one of the things I certainly appreciate about you guys is that, you know, you guys are doing such a great job really exploring and opening this world of quality and craftsmanship to the rest of us. But at the same time, you know, you're not looking down your nose at anyone. I mean, it's truly from a perspective of appreciation and passion.
Well, thanks. You know, this is our first stream that we've actually accepted to do, and I'm just looking back and forth at all the questions, and it's just pretty incredible. I don't know how we take these, Kirby. How does it work?
Yeah, well, let's, you know, we've got a few things to talk about, and I think as these questions come up, you know, we should just, you know, launch right into them. But just one quick story just for everyone. I mean, Hugo, you know, the first time I went to Paris, my wife and I, you know, Hugo was just the host of Generation, invited us to stay with him at his flat in Paris. And Hugo showed us such an amazing time in Paris. I mean, I still remember it. It was like, you know, it was like, what is it, Midnight in Paris, that movie. I mean, Hugo literally introduced my wife and I to a Paris that, gosh, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen since. And that was, gosh, that was, you know, shoot, almost 8 or 10 years ago. So I still remember those days fondly, and I think that was right around the time that you guys met, because Hugo kept on gushing about this, like this American he met and how beautiful and charming she was. And look at you guys, you know, so that's great.
Thank you.
Well, great.
Actually,
so let's go on.
Yeah, just one word. Well, I remember very well also, I took you to 2 places. First places is a jazz club. I did a few, I would say, different things in my life, as you probably know. And I've been a shareholder of a very famous jazz club in Paris for a couple of years. So you went to this jazz club was literally underground. I mean, it's the real Paris. It's not, there's no tourist here. It's only Paris for Parisian. So that's the first place. And then we went a few meters away to another cabaret, very called Les Trois Maillets, in the 5th of Paris, the Quartier Latin, the Latin area. And it's very, very special places with actual live music, and this is why you remember this. And these places are still up and flourishing and prospering.
Those 2 places are still on my list that I share with friends whenever they reach out and say, you know, we're going to Paris, what should we do? And I'm always a little bit tentative as to whether or not I should even pass those recommendations, because, you know, there's nothing that can prepare someone for what those 2 experiences entail. I mean, you know, you know, what is it, the cave of the outliers, you know, the jazz club, you know, where you literally go into this old dungeon, you know, and it's like, you know, you're walking down this narrow kind of, you know, stone staircase that's like no wider than I am. And you're like, where on earth are we going? And then it's like literally stepping into a different world where you've got some of these incredibly talented jazz artists, you know, down there, you know, just jamming, you know, just, you know, in the basement level off the street. You'd never know it.
Of course not. Of course not.
And then the cabaret, which was right across the street. I mean, we go over there and like the ground floor, it's kind of like an old piano bar, you know, where there's always like a pianist and an opera singer, you know, you just literally kind of singing around. And that was interesting enough. But then, yeah, I think at like 3 or 4 in the morning, you're like, okay, well, let's go downstairs now. And again, it's like this, you know, hidden staircase into another world. And then you get down into the cabaret. I think I felt like I was on a different planet. I mean, I literally felt like I was on a different planet that night.
I've been there, you're right.
Yeah. I'm happy you remember that.
So let's pull up our first picture of you guys. And, you know, this is a picture that I just love so much because it just so elegantly illustrates just how well-dressed you 2 are. And, you know, Sonya especially, you know, this world of kind of Italian and French tailoring that you guys inhabit, you know, being able to pull that together in such an elegant way, I think is really quite unique. I thought it'd be fun to go through a few pictures and just, you know, have you guys kind of share some of your stories about, you know, the various craftspeople and artisans that you guys have grown to get to know so well. And then just some of the garments. You know, what are you guys wearing here and where are you, Hugo?
Well, let me just lay the scene. I'll let you go take over. We were 3 years on location in Italy to write The Italian Gentleman. And so a lot of these photos will be from that period of time. But go ahead, Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine what an experience that was. It just had to be amazing.
Wow. It was crazy, yeah. So this very picture was taken in the very close to the place where Luigi Dalcuore is. Actually, if you look at my right shoulder, on my right, there's you can't see it, but the door of the Sartoria Dalcuore in Napoli is just here. We are probably here in 2016, I would say. I'm wearing 6-on-1, of course, double-breasted Cifonelli bespoke suit. That is my quote-unquote signature. It's not my signature, but it happened that we did this first experience of the 6-on-2 with the last line of button higher than normally with Lorenzo Cifonelli on this suit. So this is kind of I would say, a milestone suit for me, a staple, this one. And Sonya, she's wearing a 4-on-2 beautiful pinstripe suit in this kind of brownish color. That was made for her by Luigi Dalcuore, bespoke, of course, also. And we must admit that there are very few tailors in the world who can deal with women, and specifically with women with some curves, I mean, real women. And Luigi Dalcuore did a beautiful job with Sonya on this one. So it was probably your second or third bespoke suit, right?
Actually, that was the first one he did for me.
No, yeah, but not him. But before that, you had some Cifonelli.
Oh, yeah, I had a few. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So, and then I wear a Calabrese tie, and I have
Someone's
some.
asking about the fabric, actually. Too.
Which fabric?
Yeah, these were both BBG fabrics.
Yeah, that's a standard Vitale Barberis Canonico from. It's I think it's a Super 130, nothing to die for, but it's a very nice suit. I've been wearing this suit too much. I'm wearing here also a tie from my friend Annalisa Calabrese. We will try to give as much names of Italian people now as we can, because they really need your support. They need some help. You know, some people
Absolutely.
are really in a difficult situation. So Annalisa Calabrese, she's a tie maker, very famous. And you may not see it, but I have a pocket square also, which is from Simonnot Godard, of course.
Yes, that's funny. Benjamin literally just called me, and that's why my phone was vibrating. Benjamin, of course, making some of the finest woven pocket squares in the world. I'm wearing one today. And, of course, we've got a large selection of them here on the Hanger Project. Let's pull up another photograph. This one is of Sonya. Again, I think that this does a great job illustrating just how a lot of these talented tailors are able to do really classic pieces for women that draw on that kind of traditional masculine aesthetic, and then they feminize it and really make it beautiful for women. I mean, look at the waistcoat there. That's gorgeous.
Thank you. That's first of all, a Ripense suit. He's in Rome, and
Ripense, Andrea Luparelli. Ripense.
I think he's one of the Instagram characters that a lot of people recognize today, and I was surprised that they put together such a well-fitting suit in this tweed, Laura Piana tweed. Interestingly, the vest is not Ripense. It is Walker Slater, a Scottish maker. And he worked with different places to craft different items for both men and women. And this is a ready-to-wear Walker Slater, which was adjusted for me. The tie is a Romanian, the urban ties, which has been a surprise for us because Dan Kostic, he just selects ties for us. And he actually decides which tie fits our personality. And so this is a really cool thing we'd never experienced, and he chose this tie for me. And the shirt is, I think, the one I'm wearing now. I've probably worn this 400 times. I'm not kidding. It's
She only has one shirt.
It's a Moreau, and I wear it over and over again. It's a ready to wear, and it looks.
So somebody is asking, it's not Ripense, it's Ripense. It's R-I-P-E-N-S-E, Ripense.
And Walker Slater's.
And Walker Slater in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
So for everyone that's watching, after we're done, we'll get a list of a lot of these links from Hugo, and then we will put them in the comments section or the description of this video, because I know afterwards people will certainly be really interested in kind of seeking some of these people out.
Reflection of Hugo.
What?
Someone noticed Hugo's reflection in the door. So
I'm taking the picture.
Nice
I can add something. Can I add something on this photo, Kirby?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something that is exemplified here on this photo, because you know that so many people are asking Sonya, and since, we're on this market since a decade, so we've been writing, broadcasting, touring, lecturing, telling stories, reporting. And so many times we had the same question, she's a beautiful woman. Why does she is dressing like a man? But look at this picture. Do you really think she's dressing like a man? No, she's just dressing in tailored clothes. And this is something that we want to try to shift in people's mind. Having, look at Sonya. How can you be more feminine than this photography just in front of you? Of course, it's a certain style. You have to be able to pull it off. But it's very possible. So it's not a woman dressing like a man. No, it's a woman that is going for tailoring. And this is, you will not believe it, how many women in the world are interested by this new movement. And I'm very, lucky to live with one of the étendard, one of the flagship of this movement, which is my
I didn't start it. Girls in private school have been doing that for countless years. And it's not really important whether someone perceives it as, in my opinion, as a feminine or masculine, or people are entitled to their opinions, and that's where I've come to understand how to approach this. People are entitled to however they think.
Well, especially on the internet, opinions come cheap on the internet. So. But I think that, back to your point, Sonya, if you were to go back in kind of like the pre-fashion era, I mean, before you really had this globalization of fashion, a lot of women's wear, was being done by bespoke tailors also. I mean, women had, country jackets and, trousers and skirts, all made from the same cloth that would otherwise be used for a male. And so I think that, of course, this day and age, it's certainly a little countercultural to be dressing, formally like that as a woman. But I think it's really more misplaced on the eye of the person seeing it to call that, strictly masculine, because as Hugo pointed out, it's incredibly feminine and elegant.
Well, thank you, and well put.
Yeah. So we're going to pull up another one that I think, speaks to some of the Parisian influence in you two. And let's see. So this is an image of you guys probably at Pitti Uomo, and clearly, in the middle of summer. This is June, and again, I think that this showcases, some of that French style and influence of fashion, and the way that I see Hugo and you guys dress. So speak a little bit about this, because for one, it's impeccably coordinated, but it's also two beautiful pieces. I mean, what Hugo's wearing is quite classic, yet the color of the fabric is a shade of blue that gives it a slight fashion forwardness. And then Sonya, I mean, that beautiful, bold, kind of Prince of Wales is gorgeous.
It's check. It's high check. So I can, that's Pitti Uomo. Oh, I don't know. It's 2017, probably, 16?
That sounds right.
I don't know. It doesn't matter, really. It's in summer, of course. So I am wearing a suit, a bespoke suit, of course, by Sartoria Pirozzi in Napoli. Fantastic house that very few people know. So to avoid any confusion, Pirozzi is kind of a common name, specifically in the south of Italy. So this one, the Sartoria is called Domenico Pirozzi, and the name of the tailor is Nunzio Pirozzi. Is this short man with a mustache, incredibly kind. This is an adorable family, actually.
He's a tiny little man, and he's so energetic, but he's rather quiet. And people, especially Japanese people, want to come from all around to have a suit crafted by him for a very special reason, and that is because when he makes a suit for you, you actually look 10 pounds lighter. And we were kind of heavy here.
Yeah.
So it was a cool effect.
He helped me a lot.
He did. He helped a lot.
So this is Pirozzi. Pirozzi is Pirozzi. Great people. It's a family, like almost every sartoria in Naples. And the fabric is a very simple fabric. I think this one is Super 150 from Trappers, I guess. I'm not sure about this one. I got my Simonnot Godard Rust Pocket Square, which is my go-to pocket square. Actually, this is my go-to pocket square. Not now, actually, but this is my go-to pocket square since probably 6 or 7 years. We say this is rust. It's a small trick. If you want to have a pocket square that will go with everything, go to the rust pocket square. Because, I was about to say rust never sleeps, because I always think about Nelly Young when I speak about this pocket square. But this is what I have. And I have my bonnet glasses, the one I am wearing today, but now I transform them into correction glasses. There are bespoke glasses also made by Maison Bonnet. And my shirt is from Moreau. I kind of substantial colors. I don't like, these mini colors. I like substantial colors. And this is what I'm wearing. And Sonya, and she will describe what she's wearing, but she's wearing a beautiful suit. One more time, I think it's by Luigi Dalcuore. Dalcuore. I have no idea of the fabric. It's probably a blend of. It's more like a jacketing fabric normally, but she's bold, so she decided to do the trousers. I think I would say it's a linen, silk, and wool mix, right. Probably. Mm-hmm. It's extremely light and it's gorgeous, and of course. She put the Sonya salt on it with this neckerchief and this cap. And yeah, I agree. She looks amazing. Actually, I don't like this picture too much because she's eating me, literally. I don't exist in this picture. She's
Well, that was kind of bold to do a pattern like that. And what I learned is that you really have to go simple with the shirt and the scarf and the hat in solid colors. Otherwise, you can look really over the top. But it worked well. I got someone asked about this. Once again, a Simonnot Godard handkerchief. Normally, we spend the summer here, so we are leaving something down. And this jacket is a fantastic jacket. It's probably the only jacket in my own wardrobe which is not bespoke. It's a ready-to-wear jacket, fantastic, by Belvest. Belvest in close to Padova, a great company, and this is totally online. It's very interesting jacket.
Is it a linen?
No, it's linen, silk, and cotton. It's a blend. I will give you the exact proportion. It's 45% silk, 35% linen, and 20% of cotton, and it's like a second skin, literally. Belvest in Padova is a fantastic brand, Belvest. And they do a product, not exactly this one, and they do a product which is called a jacket in the box. And if you have the chance to put your hands on a Belvest jacket in the box, I give you the idea. You receive at home a box, like I would say a notebook, the size of a notebook, and inside it's a jacket, which is folded like 6 or 7 times on itself. And then this is what they call it, the jacket in the box. The box, you unfold the jacket, no wrinkle, you put it on, and you can go to your next appointment. So that's a jacket in the box. So this is what I'm wearing. It's a Belvest, Belvest. It's a fantastic company. Once again, it's a family. It's the Nicoletto family. So the owner, Miss Maria Terro, she's a figure in the industry. They have a fantastic Sartoria with 250 tailors close to Padova, and her son Riccardo della Piazza is also a good friend of us. So it was not planned, but Belvest is also such a fantastic brand. If you see some Belvest around, you can go with closed eyes. I mean, closed eyes for buying the garment, not for your credit card, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oftentimes, as is the case. So a lot of people are asking about your book, of course, The Parisian Gentleman, for which you're very well known for. and then you went on to write The Italian Gentleman, taking a look at really craft in Italy. And Sonya, as you mentioned, you guys spent 2 years in Italy, kind of really exploring and seeking out, some of the finest Italian craftspeople. But your latest book is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and that is footwear, bespoke shoes. So we've got a photograph of this book pulled on there. My French is terrible, so I'll have to have you pronounce this. But talk to us about this book. And apparently you're working on an English translation. I mean, I'd love to know whenever that's going to come out.
Okay, so the book is called Soulier. Soulier is the French word for shoes. Actually, the French word is normally pure. But in France, we try to be different as usual. We like to be a little bit more, picky or whatever you call it. This book, we have two words for shoes in France. We have chaussure, which is basically the basic word for shoes. And I think it's Olga Berluti who repopularized this old-fashioned word called soulier. Soulier was used in the 17th, 18th, 19th century to describe the shoes of the nobility. So chaussure was for the working class and soulier was for the nobility. But in the 1980s, Olga Berluti at the Belvest house in Paris, she decided that all the chaussure in her store will be called soulier, just to make difference between a utilitarian object, that's something you put on just to walk outside, because it can be challenging to walk with bare feet, specifically in some cities these days. And so this is a chaussure. But when you put on a soulier, it means that you understand what you're wearing. It means that you've been choosing it. It means that you've been trying to put the right pair of shoes with the right outfit. So this is why we call it soulier. And the undertitle is called Impassioned Masculine. It's called, we can translate male passion. So this book has been released in French first. When was it, darling? I'm a little bit, not about a year, in last November. It's very recent. This is a huge piece of book, my friends. We've been, it's almost too, I must admit to you, it's fantastic, it's beautiful, but it's almost too heavy. I don't even have one here. I can't travel with my book because they're too heavy. They are massive things. So this book has been released in French. It's a little bit less than 300 pages, a little bit less than 6 pounds heavy. And this is a work we did with my first photographer, Andy Julia, that many of you, or some of you may know. He was the photographer of the Parisian gentleman. And we did this book with one idea in head, is to say, I don't want to do a technical book on how to make shoes. Because first of all, my good friend Bernard Rotzel just released a book on that subject, and it was a very German and detailed approach. We are good friends with Bernard, and I know he's better than me at this kind of very technical and descriptive thing. I decided with Andy Julia on this book to have a more, let's say, artistic approach. We wanted for the first time to do a book only on the aesthetic side. That is to say, what if we select 20, 25, 20, I think there's 24 makers, and only 2 of them are not bespoke only. It's Crockett & Jones and Edward Green. All the rest are bespoke shoemakers, all of them. And but we decided to photograph those shoes from an artistic perspective. We don't describe the last, the leather, all that. No. It's something more, I would say it's more impressionism, and taking these shoes as sculptures, almost. And I must admit that my photographer did a wonderful job. For the little story, we didn't have the money, of course, to travel around the world, to go to Japan and to go to Eastern Europe and everywhere around the world, and to the UK and in France, of course. So we decided to ask all the shoemakers to send us some samples. Fortunately, you can photograph a shoe only having one. You don't have to have the pairs. One shoe is sufficient to show. And so my publisher at the beginning was very excited, because he said, we're going to receive shoes from all around the world. That's going to be fun. But I was doing, I don't know if you understand, not aware of what it represents. And so since during 1.5 months, my publisher was overwhelmed by shoes coming from all around the world. He will receive like a pack of shoes coming from, I don't know, Yoe Fukuda in Japan, for example, or from, I don't know, people from St. Crispin, or from all around the world, from Romania. And but he was receiving enormous amounts of shoes, from Paolo and him, shoes and woods and lace and everything. Tony Gabziano also, I know you were with him a few days ago. And so, and the office was a mess, and it was probably with a few hundred pieces of arts. And my photographer did a tremendous job on this. And so I think it's a kind of it's a book to make you dream, to make you also respect these people, and to make you understand that shoemaking at this level is very close, very, 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 very close to a form of art.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, a bespoke pair of shoes is literally sculpture. I mean, that's what it is.
It is.
And, I just love the intersection of true artisanal craftsmanship with an object of use, like something that you can actually wear. And it's one of the things that I love about bespoke tailoring and bespoke shoemaking is these really are objects of art where you have a truly talented craftsperson, an artisan, an artist, making these pieces for you. But instead of having them hang on a wall, it's something that you can wear, interact with, and enjoy every single day. And there's just something particularly inspiring about a beautiful pair of shoes, just whenever you look at them. But then you put those shoes on and you walk in them, and you're out throughout the day, and maybe you receive some compliments. Just the way that they feel, and that passion and that craftsmanship, to me, really kind of transmits to the body, to my own person. And I just feel so energized and elevated wearing a beautiful suit, beautiful pair of shoes, than if I'm wearing something that doesn't fit, doesn't feel great. And then something that I know that you and Sonya, you get more than anyone else, is behind all of that, you have a relationship with the person that made those items for you. And so, reflecting back on that and thinking about, the person that made this or the person that made that, and you remember being in Italy or in France, I mean, it really gives meaning and depth to what you're surrounding yourself with versus, just traditional kind of fast fashion and off-the-rack stuff. We've got another picture. So people asked a lot about Florence. And this next photograph, I don't know if this is from Florence, but I'm thinking I might know where this was taken, but I could be wrong. Where is this photograph from, and is this?
This is our cafe in Florence. Everybody knows. The name is not hitting my brain just now, but this is the Gili Cafe.
Gili, yeah. So I thought I recognized it from being from Florence. So let's talk a little bit about the Florentine tailors, and maybe, I don't know where the suit is that you're wearing, but it's a beautiful single-breasted suit, patch pockets with, pretty substantial lapels.
I like that. Yeah.
So
this is actually this is in Florence. This is from a Neapolitan tailor called Formosa, Sartoria Formosa. This is actually the picture doesn't show it very well. It's actually a Solaro suit. The classic Solaro is normally like brownish orange, but now since a few years, as Solaro has really become stylish, some people are doing it with other colors. So I don't know exactly where this fabric is coming from an Italian mill, I'm pretty sure. So it's not the original Solaro, which is normally English, but it's a Solaro effect. So you have this greenish suit, but it doesn't show too much on this picture, but you have a little bit of this part of the fabric which is not reflecting the sun, orange a little bit, with patch pockets. So for Sartoria Formosa, and you're right for the lapels, this is my weakness in life. I love large lapels, like from, the one I'm wearing right now is quite large, and even progressive, I myself but asking for large lapels. Yeah, subscribe. I'm going to subscribe. I think I already subscribed. This photo was taken in a very famous, if you've been to more of if you're looking at Petit Uomo, you probably, you've seen probably this cafe. It's called the Gili Cafe in France.
Yeah, right there in front of the plaza, the piazza.
Exactly. And in Petit Uomo nights, there are a few hundreds people here. It's you have to fight to have a glass. But it's a beautiful place. Florentine tailors, but there's Of course, there are tailors in Florence. Thank God. What's famous, of course, is Antonio Liverano. That if you are in the sartorial world, you know Antonio Liverano from the Campo and Liverano. I mean, I remember when we wrote the book with him. He's a good friend of us. We like this guy. He's an older guy, actually, in late 70s, I would say.
I would guess his age.
Yeah, it's dangerous to guess his age. And Antonio Liverano is a very interesting personality, because when you ask him about, we spent almost 3 years actually in Italy for this book, traveling. And my objective was to decipher, to understand the how do you say, the family tree. How do you say that family tree of the
lineage?
No. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. Family of the tailor, to say who are the roots and who are the founding fathers. Such a difference between, people from Milan and people from Napoli and people from Bologna and people from Firenze and Roma, whatever. And it's very strange, because each time with Sonya, we thought we hit the jackpot. I said, now we understood everything. We understand that there's 2 schools in Milan and in Naples and one in Rome, and it's coming from Milan originally. It's difficult to, but each time we will go and see another maestro, all that we were sure of, we were not sure of anymore. Because each Italian you meet will tell you a different story than the one before. And they're very, very proud. They do, of course, and they're right, because they're doing it precision. And then, why am I telling this? Because in Florence, you go and see Antonio Liverano, and you ask to him, Antonio, maestro, because you call him maestro. He adores that, by the way. You say, we received pre-orders for the book on live on the email. Thank you, my friend. That's very sweet. And so when you ask about Antonio Liverano, what are the schools of tailoring? He said, you have the Roman school, you have the Napolitan school, and he adds, he can't help but I have the Liverano school. That is to say, I do tailoring that nobody does. And it's kind of right. What are
Well, the cool thing about Liverano is his timing's really good right now. The looser old Hollywood style is in now, and he doesn't really believe in making tight suits or extreme suits to an extreme fit. And so that's good. And also there's a lot of interesting stories that he tells about people who tried on, was fitted for a bespoke suit, came out with an excellent fit, lost a lot of weight, and still loved their suit because of the roominess and sort of the flair that it gives. And so I think that's a defining factor about him. Also, he's a very interesting gentleman. He is always the first to dance when the music comes on, which is very strange because he seems very sort of sedate and serious, but he cuts a rug as soon as the music comes on. It's very cool.
Thank you,
so
Bill.
So does
Bill
De Luca, Mark De Luca.
Oh, Mark, really?
Oh, my goodness. He was a French karate champion.
We know family very well,
and we were lucky enough to be in Paris whenever they moved from their original atelier to the one on the Rue La Prix. And they had like a kind of a farewell party, the last night in their atelier before they closed the doors. And man, that man can dance.
No way.
Oh,
well, I commented on Hugo about him from the back. I'm like, that guy doesn't look like an old guy from behind, but he's like, he's a karate expert.
Okay, I want to thank Bill. Was the word I'm looking for is genealogy. And I had it in French. Yeah, the genealogic tree, I wanted to say. And with this word, you have to remember, people, I'm just French. And sometimes I can miss a few words in English. Is not my mother tongue, as you can. Of course. So let's move to another. Hugo doesn't dance. Hughes is asking. No, I'm not a dancer, but I can play the drums pretty well, actually.
Okay, you can dance a number with your mother taught you a dance that you can do quite well.
Mommy.
Do you have a kind of a primary bespoke shoemaker, one that you have more shoes made from than other people, or are you as because Cifonelli is probably your primary suit maker? I mean, you've got a lot of pieces from Cifonelli. But
Yes.
that said, I mean, you've got a lot of pieces from a lot of people. You know, is it the same with shoes, where you kind of, you know, you kind of have a lot of pieces from a lot of people?
His countless shoes. So many
I have
shoes.
a lot of shoes, but I would say, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know how to say it. I got not that many bespoke shoes. Because I have kind of a regular foot, I must admit. And even if I'm very, okay, my favorite bespoke maker, I have a project just in progress with him right now, maybe delivered in, I don't know, 6 months, I don't know, because it's a long process. As you know, it's Stephane Jimenez in Bordeaux, France, who was probably is one of the most talented in the world. I know, you know, he's not very well known around the world, but it's a master. He was the head of the John Loeb Atelier in Paris in the 1990s, early 1990s. And then he took over the atelier of Stefano Bever in Florence until year 2000. He was the head of the atelier. So this is a very seasoned shoemaker, we can say. And if you have the opportunity to go at Stéphane Jimenez Bottier on Instagram, you will see one of the incredible shoes you've ever seen in the world. So I have one project in progress with him. I got a very nice pair that have been made for me by a Japanese shoemaker called Seiji Miyagawa. He was back in the years working at Mario Bemer in Florence. But he left the company. Mario Bemer left the company too, actually. He restarted in the USA, as far as I know. And Yoji Miyagawa is now working with Norman Vilalta in Barcelona in the bespoke operation. I got a beautiful, fantastic, great, incredible pair by my friend Antonio Mecariello in Napoli. Probably, you know, incredible shoes. And the bespoke means a lot here because I've been working with these shoes for hundreds of miles in New York, and I mean hundreds of miles, I exaggerate a little bit, but a lot, without any problem. So yeah, and of course, I would say 30% of my, 15, 20%, I don't know how many shoes I have, but I have a lot of Corte, of course, because, you know, I have a special
Close relationship with
Cifonelli. Yeah, he's my buddy since well, I would say 10 years, a little bit more. I was a customer at Corte before.
You could tell them the shoe that you probably wore more than any other shoe.
Yes, and the shoe I've been wearing the most in my life is a pair of Norwegian stitched by Paolo Scafora in Naples. Is extremely good at this Norwegian construction. And if you browse some pictures later on what I send you, you should find a picture when I have my jeans with some cashmere coat. I usually wear these Scafora shoes. So I have a lot of different wardrobe, of course. I have also a lot of Italian tailors. I have a project with some English tailors also. And in shoes, let's say Corte mainly, Mecariello, Scafora, also a little bit Alta, Mario Bemer. It's difficult for me out of my head because I know roughly how many suits I have. I don't know how many shoes I have. I'm not very interested in this subject.
It's a beautiful overcoat. Is that? I mean, that's the white cashmere coat.
Yes.
Did Cifonelli make that piece for you? I mean, that coat is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is
how do you keep that thing clean? I mean, it's a beautiful coat.
He doesn't wear it often.
By not wearing it too often. That's the only way to keep it clean. That's the point. So this is, okay, I wanted Lorenzo Cifonelli to do for myself a coat. I wanted to show with this coat how a simple coat, you can be more simple than this. There's not even, there's barely, and that's it. There's nothing fancy, no half belt in the back. It's just a simple coat. I'm sorry I have something in my pocket on this picture because it's a candid picture, as you see. I'm not very prepared in terms of hair. There was a lot of wind in Napoli, Italy this day. I remember I'm in front of Pino Peluzzo Sartoria. I'm about to ring the bell of Pino Peluzzo and I don't have the coat, and I'm looking at my phone to find the coat for the door. So anyway, this is, and this overcoat, I wanted something that I could wear without a jacket. So it's what I don't know if it's the word's called a body coat that you can wear directly on the shirt. And on this very picture, I have a white shirt, this body coat, a pair of jeans, simply, and then I have this incredible Paolo Scafora shoes. You can't see them very well here. You can see that the patina is kind of spectacular, but the point on this pair is that it's Norwegian constructed, and believe me, sometimes when you walk in the city of Napoli in Italy, you need some good shoes, because the street can be a little bit difficult
absolutely.
to walk on.
Are they double-soled?
So that's the story. That's the story of this picture.
Are they double-soled?
Yes, and they are double-soled, and these are incredible shoes, because I think I've been wearing them, I don't know, darling, 500 times maybe? Probably 500 times. You will not believe it. And now they need to be resold a little bit. And but this is the kind of shoes that if you maintain them properly, they will survive you normally. Honestly, they will survive you. They should survive you.
Well, I think it's a great example of how a lot of shoemaking is a product of the environment. You know, if you look at some of the West End stuff, it has a much lighter construction, thinner outsoles, because the streets in London are just well paved. Whereas if you look at Stefano Bimmer, you know, out of Florence, which has a lot of cobblestone streets, you can see how his construction method has really evolved to be more substantial, because you need that structure to really walk comfortably on uneven cobblestone streets. And like what you're describing, you know, having a Norwegian welt with a double outsole is going to take that level of construction even to the next level, so that you have a stable shoe walking around Italy.
That's absolutely true. There's so many stories to tell about that, but it's interesting. So we love Scafora, and also this overcoat became some kind of a signature for many people who have seen me in my overcoat. And in this overcoat, but it was really a try we did with Lorenzo. It said, I wanted to attract attention with this overcoat on the fact the cut is more important than anything. Mm-hmm. That is to say, if you go to a tailor, okay, you can have fancy fabric. You can go for some kind of exuberant or, or some, like myself, big lapels and stuff like that. But you mainly go because for the cut. And on this very coat, Lorenzo Cifonelli did, I said, do the simplest coat you can possible.
So we've got another photograph.
Exactly, just like it is. And it came out like that. So it means he's a good tailor. I think this guy has a future in tailoring.
Yeah, well, this is another photograph of that same jacket. And again, you can just see how beautifully those lapels just sit on the chest of that suit with a gorgeous roll, like it's a 3-roll too. And then again, it's almost a little toned down from Cifonelli. I mean, the shoulder doesn't look as structured as some of his stuff in terms of the roping and just in and around the sleeve head. And then you were telling me, because I think I saw you that year at Pitti Uomo, it was one of the last years I went, that particular jacket is made from literally the highest grade of cashmere, because it only comes from the underbelly of the goat.
Yeah, that's right. You know a lot, Kirby. I didn't remember all these details.
Well, it was a striking jacket. I mean, this picture does the jacket little justice. I mean, because again, like you were going back to the simplicity. I mean, gosh, it is as pure and as beautiful as anything gets. And this is a beautiful photograph too of you wearing that double-breasted jacket.
Yeah. The difference is that here you see the first picture, I'm wearing the overcoat without a jacket directly on the shirt, and on this one I'm wearing under the overcoat I'm wearing a double-breasted suit. I think this one is Dalcuore, I guess. So 4 on one. The tie is from Francesco Marino in Napoli, and the shirt is from Moreau in Bologna, and this is typically the shirt color I like. You see this substance, it's a real shirt color. It's not an anorexic one. It's a real, shirt color. And beautiful tie by Marino. The suit is double-breasted from Dalcuore, and the overcoat is a 3-piece, 3 buttons, 2-roll 1, 2-roll 3 actually, by Cifonelli. And you're right, the shoulder is not completely crazy like the shoulders can be at Cifonelli sometimes. But it's a good. Yeah, I like this picture, actually. It's good. Yeah.
Let's see. So this is from Rob Taylor. Hugo, what is your go-to style, French, Italian, or English? That is a difficult question.
That's from Newport Beach, California. Hello, California. So my question, it was Rob Taylor from California asking, what is my go-to style? Well, we did a special episode on that. You have to look at this one on Sartorial Talks. It's called French, Italian, or English. What is your style? So I'm covering this subject in great details, actually. Well, honestly, I'm French, so I have a weak point, weak spot, we say that, okay, for the French tailoring. That is to say, you know, this tailoring with very padded shoulders, like the Cifonelli shoulder, very charismatic, very, when you put on, I'm talking about bespoke tailoring in France, of course. We don't have many left, unfortunately. There's a lot of MTM salons that are, rising now, but real bespoke tailors, we have, these two more important names, Cifonelli on one hand and Camps de Luca, both are friends of us. And then we used to have Francesco Marino, but I don't know what his atelier, how his atelier is doing right now. And Berluti has been also trying to build with the backbone of Arlis in the past, another atelier. But yeah, my style is more French in the idea. I would go to, I would say double-breasted with a padded shoulder, something like really charismatic, because I adore that. Oddly enough, I don't have many sport jackets. I'm a suit man. I rarely wear, today I wear a sport jacket, but it's very rare for me because I like the power of a suit. And it's not only to impress people, it's just to put yourself in such a different condition that you feel almost invincible. And if you have the luck, like we have the chance, and we don't take anything for granted, of course, but we have the luck to go to have a wardrobe, which is what I would say 95% bespoke tailoring of the highest level, we can say that it's a very, so French, for sure. But I discovered, thanks to my book, Italy, and I must admit, I fell under the charm of Italian tailoring too, but it's, well, we would need 3 hours really to speak about that, because we can say there's an Italian style. There's more than one Italian style. We have the Milanese style, which is structured. You have the Roman style, which is also structured with a condrolino that use ropes in the sleeve head, and then you have the Napolitan style. We have no padding at all. So it's extremely different in all around Italy. But Italy, for me, remains with London, of course, but on a totally different idea. Remain probably one of the holy lands of bespoke tailoring in the world. And of course, I don't dislike English, but I'm not English. And no, I'm joking. I don't dislike English. Well, I must admit, I've been very, how can I say that? Discreet on English tailoring since years, because I couldn't find, it's a matter of taste only, of course. I'm not speaking about because they're amazing tailors and we have a lot of friends in London, but I couldn't find really my taste in the English tailoring, because I wanted to be not extravagant, but to say something with the way I was dressing. And you know that the English tailoring is the statement, that is to say, remain discreet, going as far as having this saying in Savero, saying that if somebody pays you a compliment on your suit, is because your tailor has been doing a bad job. That's, for me, this is ridiculous, because nobody, everybody's happy to receive a compliment.
Because that personality, and you wear it well, but other people have that discretion type of way of thinking.
Well, what do you think of like Chilburn, Morgan, or Michael Brown? I mean, the English tailors, I mean, they seem like they could almost be right up your alley.
Yeah, so I was you very tuned, my friend, because I was about this. You just took the word from my mouth directly. I said, except that since a few years we are developing some relationship with. Well, I would say it's a trio, and it's bizarre because they're all coming from the same heritage. It's Edward Sexton, who was the head cutter of Tommy Nutter back in the 1970s. So Mr. Sexton is a good friend of and is doing spectacular tailoring, almost romantic, almost epic tailoring. And then he trained somebody as a cutter called Joe Morgan. So you understand that Joe Morgan was working for Edward Sexton. And then Joe Morgan trained a young man called Michael Brown. And Michael Brown used to work for John Morgan, and John Morgan used to work for Edward Sexton. And when I say Sexton, Morgan, Brown, it's three different generations, but these are probably my three favorite tailors on Savile Row.
Don't forget Henry Poole and David Toll.
Yeah, of course,
Love
of course.
those.
And we love also Davidoff at Gibbs and Oaks, which is doing a very interesting job, very interesting character. And we also like Henry Poole, because if you want to go for something very formal, the dinner jacket by Henry Poole remains an icon in the world.
So you spoke a little bit about the differences in the Italian tailoring. I mean, is there a particular region in Italy you find yourself having a higher affinity for?
Well, it's a very good question. Actually, the rule is very easy to understand. Okay. I think we have people here on live. Let's go back quickly to the fundamentals. A jacket is more or less structured. That is to say, is more or less formed on your body, and the place where you see the structure the most is on the shoulder. Okay, this is an Italian. There's no padding. It's very easy to. This is a sport jacket, very light, almost no lining inside. And if you go to the French tailoring, for example, very padded. So we call it the structure. In Italy, there's a rule. The more you go north, the more it's structured. The more you go south, the more it's unstructured. That is to say, and it's following the climate. Easy to understand that the jackets in Milan need a little bit heavier, a bit more structured than the jacket in Naples or in Palermo in Sicily, where the weather is very, most of the time, the weather can be extremely agreeable. So the more you go south, the more the shoulder is becoming sloppy, and it goes to the quintessential Italian sloppy shoulder in Napoli, where they don't use any padding, and the shoulders are constructed like a shirt. We call it a spalla camicia, means literally spalla camicia means with a shirt sleeve. That is to say, they take the sleeve and they put it under the bottom like a shirt, literally, for the coolest jacket, the lightest one. If you ask me my taste, well, it's impossible to say for me, because I have jackets from, I would say that currently, if I had to go to an Italian tailor, I would go to a Roman tailor, Gaetano Aloisio, because he's a little bit more structured than the Napolitan, but it's a little bit less structured than the Parisian, so it's more my taste right now. I would say Rome, but it can change because I love people in Naples, I love people in Milan also, so whatever. So remember that. The more you go south in Italy, the more you have unstructured jacket. And Italian tailoring, this is what I like to say all the time. I've been saying this many, many times, is that French tailoring, it's all about haute couture. It's all about power suits, you know, something French. You're going to really, you're going to kill with this suit, you know, literally, that's French. English, it's all about understatement traditions, you know, they want to behave according to, and I love that culture too. It's all about the etiquette and the understatement, discretion. Don't show off too much, and even is some tailoring by Michael Brown, for example, he's doing some beautiful body coats and stuff like that, which are absolutely stunning, but still, it's understatement. So France, it's haute couture, details, charisma, power suit. English is understatement, discretion, tradition. And Italian, it's all about only one thing. It's all about freedom. That is to say, Italian tailoring are the tailoring using the most colorful fabric. They are bolder than anybody else because they're Italians. This is why we love them. So France, haute couture, England, couture power suit, England, understatement, fashion tradition, and Italy, freedom.
Awesome, Abe.
Yeah. Well, we've got a question for Sonya next, which is from Yanis, who's would like to know from Sonya what she admires in a man's dressing, and particularly what type of suit do you enjoy seeing a man wear the most?
She loves my suits normally.
Well, I have this theory that when you dress, no matter who you are, you should go into your internal Lewis Carroll side. You're making your own wonderland. Not worry so much about the outside noise or judgments that are coming at you. And so when I see a man command his own inner self and sort of be able to reconcile how he is inside with basically just being able to emanate your own personal style. And if you want to get down to just black and white basics, when a guy can take 2 or 3 colors and just stick with those 2 or 3 colors and make them coordinate and keep that simplicity, it creates a very strong effect. And I, of course, Hugo is from the beginning been able to stream looks, you know, with the grays and the blues and always that rust pocket square. But also another person is Guibo. If you'll notice his Instagram, he always works with usually 2 or 3 colors. And that's something a lot of people don't realize, that you can just really limit the color scheme and have a much stronger effect than if you use multiple colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Well, thank you. That was a great. So our next question is from a Hashim, and it's asking for a little bit of advice on kind of some summer suiting. You know, talk to me a little bit about, you know, kind of seasonal wardrobes. I mean, I think, you know, the moment that you transition from a foundational wardrobe of like grays and navies to a seasonal wardrobe where you have, you know, kind of odd jackets and trousers and, you know, different weights of fabric. I mean, that's whenever this really becomes fun. And of course, Hugo, you do a lot of work kind of with fabrics. I mean, some of the videos that you've done at the different mills. So talk to us a little bit about kind of how you approach summer suiting.
This is a very good question about the summer suits. And first of all, you can, in the picture I sent to you, you have, I think I have a double-breasted 6-in-1 linen suit, white or cream white, if I remember well, the pictures I sent you by Dalcuore, if I remember that well. That's an interesting question. When I started my wardrobe a decade ago, I started like everybody, you know, with, if you start your first, I would say, first 1, 2, 3, let's say 4 suits to really cover all the situation in life, you have to go in blues and grays at the beginning. And if you're a little bit bolder, you can go to double-breasted and maybe single-breasted and 3-piece if you can. But go for the first, I would say 3, 4 suits, 2 or 3 season fabric. Why? Because first of all, the 3-season fabric of 2020 are better and better every year. They are lighter and lighter, but they can still protect you. They can still drape well. And we are talking 3-season, we're talking grams. I'm sorry, I talk in gram. I don't speak in ounces, but I think everybody can understand that for fabric. When we speak about 3-season fabric, we speak about something around 260 grams to between 250 to 300, something like that, you know, not under 250, 200, because if you speak summer, you would speak about 200, 210 grams of wool. So if you want to go to your tailor and you say, I want to have a 3-season suit, you ask for a fabric which is around 250, between 250 and 300 grams. That's the thickness. So when I started, I must admit, and I can confess it very, it's a mistake I made, is that I did with Cifonelli many suits, and then with other tailors, and I waited too long to buy myself a proper summer suit, but also a proper winter suit. And that is what we call seasonal suits. If I would start my wardrobe again now, I would do differently. I would probably do 3 or 4 suits for business, to say gray and blues, because you have to have your staple, something you can wear in any situation and occasions in life. But very quickly after, I would do a first summer suit. Why?
A first what? Summer suit?
Yeah, summer suit very quickly. Why? Because Sonya remember me very well. As you know, we were and we are traveling a lot for Parisian Gentlemen, for Sartorial Talks, for lectures, for conferences, for book signings. And I remember myself, that's a beautiful summer suit. Yeah. So,
would you go linen first, or would you go for like a high twist wool?
Well, it depends on your taste. Personally, I went, the first real, was the first real, I don't remember which one I did first, but I think that was the first one. I hesitated too long. You know why? because for me, I was not to try at all, because it's wrinkling a lot, but you have to accept it. It's part of the charm of the fabric. You know, linen, as maybe people don't realize, unlike wool or unlike cashmere or unlike this kind of thing, it's not coming from an animal. It's a plant. It's a vegetal. So linen is a very interesting fabric, but you have to accept the fact that it's wrinkling, and it can be wrinkled. We say that in English, wrinkled, quite a lot, and it was difficult for me. So I went for, but I did. Can you believe that? How stupid I was. My wife, she saw me in Dubai. I don't know the Fahrenheit in Celsius were 45 degrees Celsius, so I don't know how it translates in Fahrenheit. If somebody can translate quickly in the comment section how 45 Celsius translate into Fahrenheit, that will help me a lot. But it's way above 100 Fahrenheit for sure. And then she saw me in my beautiful Cifonelli full season suit, and I was sweating like an animal, because you can't really wear this during summer. So you have to have, if you are serious about your sartorial learning curve or about your water, you are 113 Fahrenheit. You understand? 113 Fahrenheit. It's hot. And I tried to have a kind of a whole season by Cifonelli. It didn't work. So you have to have a summer suit. It's more dramatic. It's more important to have a summer suit than to have a winter suit. I explain you why. Because if it's really cold in winter, you can always put on an overcoat. It's easier, you know, if you don't have it. But in summer, if you still want to wear a jacket, you have to wear a jacket. And so I would go for either, because I have different ones now, but I'm so happy at last I went for some summer suit on my suit number 27. Can you believe that? That's bizarre. I waited 27 suits to have a proper summer suit. Okay, I'm making a lot of suits, of course, but it's still very, very, that's a mistake I made. And so you can go for linen. If you like the wrinkling effect, you have to accept it. It's probably one of the most interesting fabric for me, because you feel fresh. And then you have different kind of wools. We call it tropical wools, very light wools, or you have the blends. The one I'm wearing today, linen, silk, and cotton, it can be very interesting too. And you have a lot of different choices. You know that clothing, the fabric side of the sartorial world, the real innovations these days are coming from the mills. They're coming from the fabric industry. And now, you know, we are very close to a family called the Drago family in Biella. Fantastic fabric company, little in comparison with the big monsters like Zegna or Opiana, Vitale Barberis, Canonico, Holland and Cherry. But they deliver a fantastic quality. And you know why? Because they have been researching a lot on what we call the multifunctional fabric. And for example, they have a bunch in it's a blend of it's a tropical wool, but it's a little stretch, stain resistant, water resistant, even wine resistant, which is important for us French, you know.
For you French.
Yeah, actually we did an next on the Slovakian TV. Don't ask me why TV in Slovakia. We were visiting, guess what, a tailor in Slovakia, Maximilian Mukshka, fantastic tailor, by the way. And the Slovakian TV was here, and I was, you know, just explaining to somebody that, why are you hitting me?
I didn't mean to, that was an accident.
Maybe I was too long, but when she hits me, normally it means you're too long.
Let's stop that.
Yeah.
And,
well, here's another summer suit that's quite interesting.
That's the next one. I can see the preview. Maybe everybody has it. No, it's not this one. But let's finish quickly what I was saying. They have a bunch called Bluefield. I think it's 210, and there's a lot of interesting fabrics for the summer right now, and we call them the multifunctional fabric because they've been making tremendous progress. It's light, and so I would go for linen if you can take this. I'm not a seersucker guy. I don't like seersucker cotton. You know why? It's beautiful, but for me, you have to live in Palm Beach to be 65-year-old and having, having a doodle or whatever. It's very, very Palm Beach. And also the seersucker for me reminds me too much, specifically if it's red and white, the ice cream sellers. So
I love seersucker. It's more like a William Faulkner, old Oxford, Mississippi type feel. It's kind of a clever look, in my opinion. But it's just a
so you see, we don't agree on everything, but I'm not a seersucker, but I understand you can like it. And I would go to all these blends, specifically for jacketing, like this one, and then some tropical wools, like the Bluefield bunch at Drago. But there's many mills who are doing this. But me, I went for linen, and I don't regret it. Believe me, this is a beautiful suit.
Yeah. So let's throw this next one on, this green one. So, I mean, your first, you said it was your 27th suit was whenever you finally went to the summer blends. You wish you would have done it earlier. That's actually a really interesting insight. The first one you went for was that beautiful kind of oatmeal linen. But then where does this fit in? Because, you know, I mean, for one, it's a beautiful photograph. I mean, that green, you know, in that garden is gorgeous. But, I mean, that's kind of a bold suit. I mean, I don't know if I could pull that off. Beautiful lapel, though. Look at the belly on that lapel. That's single-breasted peak lapel with a huge belly. Wow.
Yeah, I want something that if you can zoom in, actually you will be very surprised because this is a first fitting.
Yeah, I can kind of see the basted threads, you know, if you look closely.
Yeah, the suit is not done at all. This is the first fitting of one of, look at that. This is crazy, you know, you still have the canvas around the neck. So it's the first fitting. Oh, okay, this suit is in progress.
That's a proper smile of a man that is really happy with his first fitting. Look at that smile.
Yeah, but look at this suit for a first fitting. Okay, this is a suit by a man that I adore here. It's called Gianni Celeghin. C-E-L. I will type it directly so that you can see it. Gianni Celeghin. Oh, I put it on the chat board. So Gianni Celeghin is a literally unknown tailor. We discovered it very randomly. Is located in Legnano, close to Milano, north of Italy, 50 kilometers from Milan. And this guy is an incredible tailor. Incredible tailor. Look at that. You see, it's on the picture. It's a first fitting. It's just it's a little bit more than basted because you know my morphologies. And so it was able to dress me quite well. But, okay. So this Celeghin is one of my friends. And you will not believe, but this color, this suit is a 100% cashmere suit.
You're kidding.
So that's very not reasonable, my friends. This suit is a kind of, I don't know what to say. It's like, it's going over the top, you know. And the fabric is a vintage cashmere, 100% cashmere from Zegna. I think it's from 1976, but I'm not sure. Or maybe a little bit earlier, 1960s maybe. So it's a 100%. So it's totally unreasonable to do the pants in this cashmere so I ordered 2 pants, of course, but I wanted to give it a chance. I like this color. And but it's cashmere for summer. You understand? Cashmere can be extremely light, and so there's practically no interlining inside. It's going to be a piece of art. I was supposed to take delivery of this jacket, this suit a few months ago. I didn't have the time to go to Milano, and then of course, now we can't go to Milan. But that's going to be my next suit. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to pull off, but you'll see, it's well, I love it. Look at that. I love it.
I mean, it's a beautiful fabric. And so is that your second summer weight fabric? I mean, it's hard to put cashmere, 100% cashmere in summer, but I guess it's light enough.
Well, no, it's not my second. I have others. I have a lot of, you don't have all the photos. I have a lot of tropical wools. I have a lot of different things. But this one I wanted to, the story is that Gianni Celeghin showed this to me. Because he's my friend, so okay, when we go and visit them, they're nice, super nice people. If you want to order something from Gianni Celeghin, you better do it now, because when you ask for his age, he says, I'm somewhere in my 80s. But we don't know if he's 81 or 89. We have no idea. But believe me, he's not born yesterday.
He crossed for a well-known football player, which is, he's sort of in that circle, the sports circle of a few football players, which is an interesting point about him. Very effervescent man. He hugged Hugo, running towards him, and one of those slow-mo hugs the first time he saw him, because he felt an immediate connection with him. So he has a beautiful art in his salon. It's a beautiful salon.
His house is more like a museum than Sartoria. It's an incredible man. Yeah, Sonya, I don't know if people who are online, they understand football. When we say football in Europe, we say soccer. We don't speak about American football, of course.
No.
And I was at Gianni Celeghin the first time, and so I was browsing a little bit of the jacket he had around him, and I went inside. Gianni Celeghin. I write it Gianni Celeghin. Okay, everybody. I wrote the name of this tailor, Gianni Celeghin. Okay. And so I was browsing the jacket, and I looked inside the jacket, and there was the name of a very, 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 very famous soccer player, probably the most famous in the world, at this place, Gianni Celeghin.
And the price is amazing.
The price is...
you won't even believe the value.
You will not believe the value.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, and he made that amazing coat, probably the most beautiful coat we have in our collection, which happened to be mine.
Yeah.
And he asked me to donate it to a museum when I died.
Yeah. Yeah, Sonya's coat, I don't know if you have a picture of this one. It's a fantastic... It's a coat made of vintage Xenia, once again, from 1957. 100% cash... No. 90% cashmere, 10% silk, and and he made this.
Is it a pinstripe?
No, it's an overcoat. It's a long overcoat for summer. You can, if you browse her Instagram, you will find it very easily, I guess. And at the back, there are 31 buttonholes. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, now I remember that jacket. Yeah.
They want the name of the player.
They want the name of the player. The name of the player is Lionel Messi. Messi, the most famous soccer player in the world.
Look, someone...
Oh, he said this about Messi. Yeah. George Flores, you guessed before we talk about Messi.
There you have it. Yes. Good job.
Oh, that's the overcoat. Yeah, you can see. Okay, so that's this overcoat on the left. This is Sonya's overcoat. You don't see, but in the back, it's all open with 31 buttonholes. This is a crazy coat. It's full cashmere from 1957. And mine is a double-breasted by Sartoria Ciardi in Naples. That's full pure cashmere too. I'm sorry. You know, when you put your cashmere, it's difficult to move back.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes,
of course.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Great first experience.
Yeah. Well, stay safe, and you know, thank you guys again for joining us.